Kalashri Srimati Aishwarya Warrior. Srimati Aishwarya Warrior hails from a family of artists. She was initiated into the art of classical dance at the tender age of 5 by her mother Srimati Sribala Menon. Subsequently, she was trained in the two styles of Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam under eminent gurus such as Dr. Sujeta Bhide Shafekar, Udyogamandal Vikraman, and Kalamandalam Saraswati. She obtained guidance to Sopana Sangeetam under Padmabhushan Sri Kavalam Narayana Panikar. Srimati Aishwarya Warrior has made a signal contribution to increasing the awareness and appreciation of Mohiniyattam outside the limited geography of the state of Kerala. By her performances, legdom, and writing, she has introduced thousands of people in the rest of India and indeed Southeast Asia to the beauty of this wonderful classical art form. She has established the Nrityodaya School of Classical Dance in Vadodara, through which she imparts high quality training in Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. This builds in young people a deep connect with the ancient Indian culture and ethos. Srimati Aishwarya Warrior has been honored with several awards and has evolved a supreme dedication, study, thought, and discipline. Following are the significant milestones of her dance career. In 2012, she was conferred with the Pravasi Kalashri Award by the Kerala Sangeeta Nataka Academy and Department of Culture, Government of Kerala for contribution in the field of classical dance. In 2009, she was awarded Junior Research Fellowship by the Department of Culture, Government of India. This followed many more awards. In 2015, she received A grade as an artist of Doordarshan. In 2010, empaneled as an artist of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, New Delhi. Having earned her master's in classical dance from the Center of Performing Arts, University of Pune, Aishwarya is currently a research scholar pursuing research in Mohiniyattam. She has conceptualized and directed a dance film, Nilima, Beyond the Blue, and Exploration. In her quest to increase the awareness and appreciation of Mohiniyattam, she has traveled and performed extensively both in India and abroad. Her professional stature is the result of a dignified and ethical manner in which she has conducted herself on stage and off it. This is entirely aligned with the grace, beauty, and sublime spiritual teachings of this pristine art form, Mohiniyattam.
Namaste. Why do you want to become a dancer? That is the most important question we need to answer today. Is it because you have grown up in an atmosphere which is conducive to dancing? You have seen people around you dancing? Is it because you have always been trained in classical dance as a hobby since young age? Or then is it because you just love to dance and dance is your passion? It could be any of these reasons, but yet if you want to take dance as a profession, then the most important thing that should be in your mind is that I want to live to dance and dance is my life. Money will always come later, but making money would not be the first intention of a dancer. It would be to express his or her creativity through beautiful dance movements, to express our emotions through rhythm, music, and choreography. For this, we have to first and foremost enable ourselves with the basic tools of being a dancer. And this is possible only through rigorous training. This training begins from a very young age and it goes on. And you are always being trained to be a dancer. When we talk about training, we have three types of training to be a classical dancer. Either it is a very traditional Guru Shishya Parampara, whereby the student is trained by a guru in the home of the guru, or in modern times it could be in a common space where the student goes to meet the teacher. The other kind of training is where you are engaged in a group activity in a neighboring community center or a club where you learn with other students. And the third kind of training is the very systematic institutional training of classical dance, which happens in the colleges where we have a diploma course, a BA, a bachelor degree, a master's in dance, which can later even go to PhDs. That is research. When we speak about training in the classical art form, we have two segments. First is the practical training, and the second is theoretical training. The practical training involves in learning the basic steps called Adava, moving on to certain rhythmic compositions, musical compositions, compositions with enactment or abhinaya, and the basic repertoire of that particular dance style. During the practical training, both your body and mind undergoes intensive, rigorous training to be able to move in tandem to the rhythm and the music, as well as to be able to reach a point of performance whereby you are in a subconscious state and enacting various characters. In addition to training practically, a dancer also needs the information that is provided by the scriptures which are there in our ancient traditions. This is called the theoretical aspect. We learn about the origin of dance, the texts which give the various anga upangas, the divisions of the body, the uses of the eyes, the cheeks, the hands, the fingers, the hips. The entire body is dissected and the movements are studied. And also the way the various characters are portrayed, the various Naika or the heroine themes, the hero themes, the stories, the narratives are all given in our scriptures. So now, armed with the theory and the practical lesson, the dancer can slowly move on to doing her own choreographies. While learning to dance, in addition to the physical training, he or she is also made aware of the allied aspects of music, rhythm, and she also is trained to articulate herself. And this is why the Indian classical dance styles are always understood as a composite medium, where it is not just moving the body to music or rhythm, but where you are elevating yourself to a sublime level of union with the Lord or the God. That is the ultimate goal of any dancer. So a dancer gives that happiness to the viewer also, whereby the thousands of viewers, as she performs through her life, are made to experience that sublime reality. What can be more blessed than that? Like I mentioned earlier, along with training in classical dance, she is equipped now with knowledge of music, theory, scriptures, and how to conceive, process, and communicate her ideas using body as her tool. But there are certain other areas also. If you want to be a professional classical dancer, these are the areas in today's time you should also be aware of, such as you need to be knowing who are the dancers and the other dancers in the field, which are the various styles, the schools. You should have a good networking ability to make good friends among your colleagues. And a very important thing is to have your own website in today's time, where your performance videos are uploaded and you reach out to the audience through the technology, the medium that is available to us, such as social media and YouTube channels, where your pictures, photograph, your performances speak for your work. So now you have armed yourself with the tools that are required to be a dancer. Then what? Your calling is the stage. Any and every dancer, first and foremost, wants to perform and wants an audience. You haven't learned all these years to dance in a closed room. The most easiest opportunity for the dancer is to perform at the various temple venues all across the country. All our classical art forms are temple-based forms of dance, and they have been ritualistic in nature. So you can start applying to all these festivals, whereby you will get a very good audience which is trained to classical dance. Other than the temple events, there are the sabhas or the cultural organizations, where they have annual or monthly festivals and programs, where again you can be performing. And then the young dancer graduates to bigger shows and events which are called dance festivals, which could be 3-day festivals, 5-day events organized by groups or other individual dancers. And then again, we have the government body. We have the central government, where we have the Sangeet Natak Academy and the various zones. India is divided into various zones of South Zone, West Zone, Northeast Zone. Every zone, including the center, has their own individual dance festivals. So the classical dancer who now has performed at so many events already and built his or her profile can start performing at the national level and in all these national dance festivals. In addition to this, you also have the corporate events, where many times many companies would like to showcase what is India, the Indian culture, and they would have such shows catering to classical dance and music. So that is your next venue to perform. And having performed all over the country, it is natural for you to want to perform out of the country. And yes, there are many such festivals organized across the world, where Indian classical dance style, artists performing these styles are invited. Abroad too, there are series of workshops, lecture demonstrations being conducted by the Indian dancers to promote the art forms not only among the non-resident Indians, but also those who are from those countries. This is the aspect of work that you get if you want to perform as a classical dancer. Having been trained in the classical art forms, it is but natural for you to want to teach the next generation, the coming generation. And there, the teacher in you rises up, and you may want to start your own class. You will have your own institute, register it. And that is a whole new segment altogether, where you will have many students trained to follow you, following your style, and later on they themselves will start teaching. That is a natural continuous process for any dancer. In addition to establishing your own institute, to be able to teach students coming to you. You might also want to be associated or to be part of the teaching fraternity in the university or the performing arts colleges across the country. For that, a prerequisite is that you should have already done your BA, MA, and maybe your PhD. Only then can you be a faculty member, a lecturer in dance in any of the colleges. Then again, having done your PhD or research in classical dance, you could also be a guide for other students who are researching in dance. So here you see, there are so many career options for a classical dancer. Many times he or she would choose one, and many are into these various career styles, because today the classical dancer is not just dancing. Many times he or she is also managing an event where they are conducting their own dance festivals, seminars. The dancer could also be working with an organization or a festival group as a curator, a program coordinator. And another allied aspect to being a dancer is, most of the companies in their HR, they require artists who can put together their events. So the dancer can be associated with companies, with corporates, or even agencies where choreographers are required. So you could be choreographing for maybe films or ad agencies. And yes, again, why not choreographing also for schools and their events? Because today dance is an integral part of the school curriculum. So you could also think about being a dance teacher in school, where you train the young minds early on in our Indian traditions. If you have a flair for writing, as a classical dancer, you could also dabble at writing about classical dance, being an art critique. All the various performances that you are viewing, you could analyze and write for a good dance journal. Around us in society, we see so many people who are in distress, who are emotionally upset, or then who have some physical disability. Classical dancers can also use their art form to help those around. And this is known as dance therapy, where the dance movements can be therapeutic, not only to lift your spirits, to bring up those who are down in depression, to make one feel happy, but also it will help for those with certain disabilities to express themselves through physical movements in a joyous way. And hereby the dancer not only sympathizes with all of them, but she's also able to have an empathy, and there is an emotional bonding and connect. So dance therapy is another avenue you can explore. All said and done, finally, I think only if you are dancing can you really call yourself a dancer. So no matter whatever field you are, whether you're writing or you are into therapy or into choreographing, always the dancer will find some space and time to dance and express herself. And here, every time, your work should always speak about what touches you, touches your heart. Thereby, you can maybe make some positive changes in the society through your dance choreographies, which will always speak about relevant issues. So dance becomes your communication tool. The best part about being a classical dancer is there is no retirement. Once a dancer, always a dancer. You graduate from being a young upcoming dancer to a professional dancer, to being a teacher, a guru, and finally a legend. And every stage that you perform would be the test for you to excel and move on to the next stage of performance in a better way. And let your motto be in life, excellence is a journey and not a goal.